Primary debates have been going on for a long time. I think at one point in one of the cycles there were probably close to 40 of them. That number has ramped back, but I don't think they've evolved for the better. 10 candidates on one stage for 2 hours with multiple moderators just isn't an ideal format to learn about the candidates. If you go back to the first really modern television era debate between Kennedy and Nixon 60 years ago, they started with an 8-minute opening statement where they could really outline your vision. It will be very hard for any single candidate to get 8 minutes total in any of these debates. So that's going to be a problem until the field winnows a little bit. As I say, having 20 candidates spread over 2 nights, the journalists who are running the debate actually don't have a lot of control over some of the key points. The journalists aren't setting the standards of who participates. That's how we end up with 20 candidates. The journalists aren't even choosing which candidates are on debate which night. That's going to be a random choice. If Joe Biden ends up on a different night than Elizabeth Warren or some of the other leading candidates, that seems like a very missed opportunity to me in terms of exposing their contrasting views. So what are some of the improvements we could make? Freer format, allowing a moderator maximum ability to explore the topics of the debate, to allow candidates to have more time, to have them engage in ways that the moderator sees as appropriate. Fewer candidates. The 10 candidate scenario is just a soundbite competition. You have 60 seconds to make a point, you try to make a loud point, you try to make it a point that's going to gather audience applause because there's a big live audience as part of the show business. Again, contrast it to some of the earlier debates. There was no live audience. A candidate didn't have that sort of showbiz element of, did that line land with the audience and now they're laughing, or now they're applauding me, or now they're cheering? I think a model that dials down some of those showbiz elements but retains the real content has a future, and we should look particularly to some of these one-on-one candidate events that have been happening this year. And while I get that those kinds of programs aren't necessarily going to get the kinds of ratings that a big prize fight extravaganza is going to get, I think all of the news organizations in this country today have some responsibility to deliver that kind of responsible content. Television is an important part of news coverage in the country. It's an important part of politics. But I think there is a middle path between Battle of the Politics Stars and C-SPAN. It doesn't have to be boring, but it can have substance. And I think if the network news divisions were able to try to push that agenda a little bit, I think we might be able to dial back to a place that's more meaningful.